The Shock, written in third-person style, using simple and basic English. Part 1. The Shock. The sun was setting over the world, casting a warm glow on cities and towns below. People were winding down their day, enjoying the calm evening, when a sudden and terrifying event unfolded. High above Earth, in the dark void of space, an alien fleet appeared without warning. The alien ships were enormous, sleek, and unlike anything humans had ever seen. They glided silently through space, their dark hulls reflecting the faint light of distant stars. As they approached Earth, their intentions became clear. Without any form of communication, the alien fleet began its attack. In an instant, the tranquility of evening turned to chaos. The first signs of the attack were massive explosions lighting up the sky. These explosions were not from meteor showers or fireworks, but from the powerful weapons of the alien ships. Cities around the world were caught off guard. In New York, people were watching the news when suddenly, the screen went black. An enormous alien craft hovered above the city, and moments later, it unleashed a barrage of energy blasts. Buildings crumbled, and fire blazed through the streets. Panic spread as people ran to find shelter. Across the ocean, London faced a similar fate. The alien ships, their designs sleek and menacing, unleashed a storm of destruction. The British defenses were quickly overwhelmed. The military scrambled to respond, but their efforts were futile against the advanced technology of the invaders. In Asia, cities were plunged into darkness as the alien fleet continued its relentless assault. The powerful weapons of the alien ships disabled satellites and communication systems. Governments struggled to coordinate a response, and the world seemed to be slipping into disarray. The suddenness of the attack left people in shock. How could such a powerful force appear so suddenly? The aliens had not made any demands or offered any explanation. Their sole purpose seemed to be destruction. In the midst of the chaos, military leaders and scientists raced to understand the alien technology. The advanced ships moved with a speed and agility that human technology could not match. The weapons they used were unlike anything humanity had ever encountered. Emergency meetings were held across the globe. World leaders convened to discuss how to handle the situation. The first priority was to protect civilians and provide aid to those affected by the attacks. As cities burned and people fled, the global response was frantic and uncoordinated. While the world was in turmoil, a few brave souls stepped forward with a glimmer of hope. Scientists and engineers worked tirelessly to analyze the wreckage left by the alien attacks. They sought any clue that might help in the defense against the invaders. Back in the heart of the chaos, people found themselves united by a common enemy. Despite the fear and confusion, there was a growing sense of determination. The alien fleet had shown no mercy, and the humans were not ready to surrender without a fight. As night fell, the battle raged on. The initial shock of the alien attack had given way to a desperate struggle for survival. People banded together, trying to make sense of the nightmare unfolding around them. The world had changed in an instant. The once peaceful evening was now a battleground. The alien fleet's surprise attack had thrown humanity into a fight for its very existence. The future was uncertain, but one thing was clear. The struggle had only just begun. I hope this captures the shock and urgency of the situation while remaining engaging. Let me know if you need any changes. Humanity's last hope. The night sky, once filled with stars, was now marred by the dark silhouettes of alien ships. Earth lay in ruins, with fires burning brightly in the aftermath of the surprise attack. As dawn broke, the world was still in chaos. Governments and military leaders from every corner of the globe scrambled to respond to the alien invasion. In a secure bunker deep underground, world leaders gathered. The room was filled with tension and uncertainty. Maps of affected cities and regions were spread across a large table. The air was thick with urgency as experts explained the severity of the situation. "We need a plan," said General Harris, his face lined with worry. Our defenses have been shattered. The aliens have technology far beyond anything we've seen. Dr. Emily Chen, a leading scientist in weapons technology, stood up. We might have something. Our team has been working on a prototype for a new type of weapon. It's still experimental, but it could be our best chance. The room fell silent. Everyone knew that the odds were against them. The new weapon was untested, and there was no guarantee it would work. But the alternative was to continue facing the aliens with outdated technology and a shattered defense system. Dr. Chen continued, the prototype uses a different form of energy. We believe it can disrupt the alien ship systems, but we need to test it in real combat conditions to know if it will work. General Harris nodded slowly. All right, we'll need to move fast. The alien fleet is relentless, and we don't have much time. While the leaders made their decision, military forces around the world began to prepare for the trial run of the new weapon. The weapon was loaded onto a stealth bomber, its sleek design showing promise despite its experimental nature. The mission was risky, but there was no other option. In a makeshift command center, Captain Alex Rivera was chosen to lead the mission. He was a seasoned pilot with a reputation for bravery. As he briefed his team, he could feel the weight of the mission pressing down on him. We're going to test the new weapon against the alien fleet. This could be our turning point. Stay sharp, and let's give it everything we've got. The stealth bomber, carrying the new weapon, took off under the cover of darkness. The crew was silent, each person focused on the task ahead. As they approached the alien fleet, the tension was palpable. The alien ships loomed large in the sky, their dark forms casting shadows over the burning cities below. Captain Rivera gave the order, and the new weapon was activated. A bright, pulsing energy beam shot out from the bomber. It struck an alien ship, causing a massive explosion. The alien vessel was disabled, and for the first time, humanity saw a glimmer of hope. The team continued their assault, using the new weapon to target key alien ships. The battles were fierce, but the weapon's effectiveness began to show. Alien ships started to falter, and human forces gained some ground. Back at the command center, the mood shifted from despair to cautious optimism. Reports came in of successful hits and disabled alien ships. Dr. Chen and the leaders watched intently, hoping that this new weapon could indeed turn the tide. However, the aliens were not easily defeated. They quickly adapted, deploying countermeasures to resist the new weapon. The battles became even more intense as the alien fleet adjusted its tactics to the new threat. Despite the setbacks, the use of the new weapon provided a crucial advantage. For the first time, humans felt that they could fight back with some hope of success. The tide of the battle was starting to shift, and the resilience of humanity began to show. As night fell, the stealth bomber returned, and its crew was greeted with a mixture of relief and exhaustion. The mission had shown promise, but the fight was far from over. The new weapon had proven that humanity could stand up to the alien threat, but the road to victory would be long and hard. In the days that followed, preparations were made to deploy the new weapon more widely. The world's remaining defenses were strengthened, and people began to rally around the hope that they could turn the tide against the alien invaders. Humanity's last hope was now in motion, and the struggle for survival continued. The fight was far from over, but for the first time since the alien fleet's arrival, there was a reason to believe that victory might be within reach. A new weapon. The world was still reeling from the alien attack. Cities lay in ruins, and fear gripped every corner of the globe. Amid this turmoil, the hope for a new weapon was humanity's only glimmer of hope. In a top-secret laboratory hidden away in a remote location, scientists and engineers worked around the clock on a revolutionary new technology. Dr. Emily Chen led the team with a mix of determination and anxiety. The prototype was still in its early stages, and there were many unknowns. The weapon was designed to emit a powerful energy pulse capable of disrupting alien technology. If it worked, it could be humanity's game changer. But if it failed, it could be a waste of precious resources and time. Dr. Chen and her team huddled over blueprints and models of the weapon. The lab was filled with the hum of machinery and the buzz of constant activity. Engineers were assembling the weapon's final components, while scientists ran simulations to test its effectiveness. "Everyone, focus," Dr. Chen said, her voice firm but calm. "We've done everything we can to make sure this prototype works. Now it's time for the real test." The new weapon was large and complex, built to fit onto a specially modified stealth bomber. Its design was cutting-edge, with intricate circuits and energy emitters that looked like something out of a science fiction novel. The team knew that this was their last chance to turn the tide. Captain Alex Rivera, the pilot chosen for the critical mission, arrived at the lab to check on the weapon's final preparations. He was a seasoned veteran, but the gravity of the mission weighed heavily on him. He understood that the success of the new weapon could mean the difference between victory and defeat. "How are we looking?" Captain Rivera asked as he inspected the weapon. Dr. Chen nodded. "The weapon is ready. We've tested it extensively, but there's no substitute for real combat conditions. You and your crew will be taking the huge risk." Captain Rivera nodded in agreement. "We're ready. We know what's at stake. Let's hope this works." The stealth bomber, carrying the new weapon, was prepped for launch. The crew was a mix of experienced pilots and engineers who had worked on the weapon. They all shared a sense of resolve, knowing that their mission was critical to the survival of humanity. As the bomber took off, the sky was dark and foreboding. The alien fleet hovered above the Earth, a constant reminder of the threat that loomed over the planet. The bomber ascended towards the enemy fleet, and the tension in the cockpit was palpable. Each member of the crew knew that they were heading into a high-risk battle. Captain Rivera and his crew approached the alien ships cautiously. The new weapon was activated, and the bomber's systems hummed with power. The weapon's energy pulse was designed to disrupt the alien ship's systems, causing chaos among their ranks. The first test of the weapon was a crucial moment. As the bomber released the energy pulse, a blinding light filled the sky. The pulse struck an alien ship, and it immediately began to falter. The ship's systems malfunctioned, and it spiraled out of control, crashing into another alien vessel. The bomber crew watched with bated breath as the weapon's effects became evident. Alien ships were visibly struggling, their once coordinated movements becoming erratic. The weapon had made a significant impact, and for the first time, humanity saw a chance to push back. The success of the initial test was a huge boost to morale. Back at the command center, the leaders and scientists monitored the results with hopeful anticipation. The new weapon had proven its potential, but the battle was far from over. As the stealth bomber continued its assault, the alien fleet began to adapt. They deployed countermeasures designed to neutralize the new weapon's effects. The battles became increasingly intense, with both sides engaging in a high-stakes game of strategy and technology. Despite the growing resistance, the new weapon had already achieved a critical breakthrough. It gave humanity a fighting chance and inspired a renewed sense of determination. The weapon's success was a beacon of hope in a dark time, proving that humanity could still stand up to the alien threat. As the bomber returned to base, its crew was greeted with cheers and relief. They had taken a significant step towards turning the tide of the war. The new weapon was now a central part of humanity's defense strategy, and the fight against the alien invaders was far from over. The world watched and waited as the battle continued, hopeful that the new weapon would lead them to victory. Humanity's last hope had become a powerful symbol of resilience and courage, and the struggle against the alien fleet was now more promising than ever. The first battle. The morning sun cast a dim light over the battlefield as the alien fleet continued its relentless assault on Earth. The new weapon, recently tested, was ready for its first real engagement. The world's hope now rested on this crucial battle. The alien ships, massive and menacing, loomed over the burning cities below. Humanity's defenses were strained, but the new weapon offered a glimmer of hope. Captain Alex Rivera and his team prepared for the mission with a mix of anticipation and anxiety. They knew that this battle could make or break humanity's efforts. The stealth bomber, armed with the experimental weapon, was ready for launch. The crew moved with purpose, their eyes focused on the task ahead. As the bomber ascended into the sky, the crew reviewed their plan. "We need to strike quickly and decisively," Captain Rivera said. "Our goal is to hit the enemy's command ships and disrupt their coordination. We don't have a second chance." The bomber approached the alien fleet, its sensors scanning for targets. The alien ships were arrayed in a formidable formation, their weapons bristling with deadly intent. The crew tightened their grip on their controls, ready for the confrontation. The new weapon was activated, and the bomber's systems hummed with energy. A powerful pulse of energy shot out, hitting one of the alien command ships. The ship's systems went haywire, and it began to spiral out of control. This was the first real test of the weapon's effectiveness in battle conditions. The impact of the energy pulse was immediate. Several alien ships started to malfunction, their movements becoming erratic. The bomber's crew watched with a mix of relief and caution. "It's working," one of the engineers reported. "We're causing significant damage." However, the aliens were quick to react. They deployed countermeasures to defend against the new weapon. Flashes of energy and explosions erupted as the alien fleet adapted to the new threat. The battle intensified as both sides engaged in a fierce exchange of fire. Captain Rivera guided the bomber through the chaos, weaving between bursts of alien energy. The crew worked in unison, targeting key alien ships and using the new weapon to its fullest advantage. The bomber's sensors tracked the impact of each pulse, providing valuable data to refine their strategy. Despite the initial success, the alien counterattacks were relentless. Alien ships regrouped and launched a coordinated assault against the bomber. The crew faced a series of close calls as energy blasts narrowly missed their craft. "We need to stay focused," Captain Rivera urged. "We're making progress, but the enemy is not giving up easily." The battle raged on, with explosions lighting up the sky. The bomber's weapon continued to disrupt the alien fleet, but the alien ships were resilient. The new weapon was proving its worth, but the fight was far from over. As the battle progressed, the bomber's crew noticed a shift in the alien tactics. The aliens began to focus their efforts on disabling the bomber. "They're targeting us specifically," one of the crew members observed. "We need to be more cautious." Captain Rivera responded with determination. "We'll continue the assault, but we need to adapt. We've shown that the new weapon works. Now we need to use it wisely." The bomber maneuvered through the increasingly hostile environment, targeting the most critical alien ships. The crew worked tirelessly, their focus unwavering despite the mounting pressure. The new weapon continued to cause significant disruption among the alien forces, but the cost of the battle was evident. As the bomber made its final pass, the crew took a moment to assess the damage. The alien fleet had suffered substantial losses, and the command ships were in disarray. "We've made a difference," Captain Rivera said, his voice filled with a mix of pride and exhaustion. "But this is just the beginning." The bomber returned to base, its crew greeted with a mix of relief and celebration. The first battle had demonstrated that the new weapon could turn the tide. But the fight was far from over. The alien fleet remained a formidable threat, and the battle for Earth continued. Back at the command center, leaders and scientists analyzed the results of the battle. The new weapon had proven its effectiveness, but the alien response showed that there was still much work to be done. The world's focus was now on refining their strategies and preparing for the next engagement. Humanity's first real test of the new weapon had been a hard-fought success. The battle had shown that they could make a stand against the alien invaders. With renewed hope and determination, the fight for survival continued, and the struggle to reclaim their world pressed on, gaining ground. The skies over Earth were still dark with the shadow of the alien fleet. The recent battle had shown that the new weapon could disrupt the alien ships, but the fight was far from over. Despite the heavy losses and ongoing chaos, humanity's spirits were lifted by their newfound advantage. The key now was to build on this success and push back against the invaders. Back at the command center, teams of scientists and military strategists worked tirelessly to refine their tactics. The new weapon had proven effective, but it needed to be used more efficiently to achieve lasting results. Leaders from around the world gathered to plan their next moves. "Now that we know the weapon works, we need to use it more strategically," said General Harris. "Our goal is to recapture key territories and weaken the alien fleet's command structure." Dr. Emily Chen, who had been working on the weapon, agreed. "We have data from the last battle that can help us understand how the aliens react to our attacks. If we target their command ships and communication hubs, we can cause more disruption." Teams of pilots, engineers, and soldiers were mobilized to execute the new plan. The bomber equipped with the experimental weapon was readied for a series of targeted strikes. The mission was to hit critical points in the alien fleet's formation and create opportunities for a broader counterattack. Captain Alex Rivera, who had led the first successful mission, was chosen once again. He briefed his crew on the new strategy. "Our targets are alien command ships and communication centers. If we can disable these, we'll create chaos within their ranks and make it easier for ground forces to advance." The bomber took off with the new plan in mind. As it approached the alien fleet, the crew prepared for their targeted strikes. The alien ships, though still formidable, were starting to show signs of disorganization. The recent battle had shaken their confidence, and the new weapon's effectiveness was becoming evident. The bomber's crew initiated their attack. The new weapon was deployed with precision, sending powerful energy pulses to disrupt the alien command ships. The results were immediate. Several alien ships were incapacitated, and their movements became more erratic. The disruption created a ripple effect throughout the fleet. On the ground, human forces began their counteroffensive. The chaos in the alien fleet provided an opportunity for soldiers and civilians to reclaim lost territory. The tide of battle was slowly shifting as human troops advanced, supported by the new weapon's success. Reports from the front lines were encouraging. Alien forces were struggling to regroup, and key strategic points were being reclaimed. The coordination between different military units improved as they took advantage of the disruptions caused by the new weapon. As the days went by, the success of the new strategy became more evident. The alien fleet was in disarray, and humanity's forces were making significant gains. The new weapon had become a critical tool in the fight, and its impact was visible in the recaptured cities and restored communication networks. Dr. Chen and her team continued to monitor the weapon's performance and refine their tactics. "We need to keep up the pressure," she said. "The aliens will adapt, and we need to stay ahead of their countermeasures." General Harris echoed her sentiment. "Our progress is promising, but we must remain vigilant. Every gain we make is a step towards reclaiming our world." The morale of the human forces was high. The successful use of the new weapon and the progress on the ground had provided a much-needed boost. People began to believe that victory was possible, and the fight against the alien invaders continued with renewed determination. As the alien fleet faced increasing setbacks, the leadership on Earth prepared for the next phase of their strategy. The focus was on consolidating the gains and preparing for a more decisive confrontation with the remaining alien forces. Humanity's resolve was stronger than ever. The recent successes demonstrated that they could not only survive, but also fight back effectively against the alien threat. With each victory, the hope for a final resolution grew, and the battle for Earth continued with a renewed sense of purpose. Alien tricks. After several days of progress, the tide of the battle was turning in humanity's favor. The new weapon had proven effective, and key territories were being reclaimed. However, the alien invaders were not going to give up easily. They were learning from their losses and adapting their tactics to counter the new threat. In the command center, the mood was one of cautious optimism. Reports from the front lines showed continued gains, but there were troubling signs that the aliens were beginning to counteract the new weapon's effects. General Harris and Dr. Emily Chen reviewed the latest intelligence with growing concern. "We've noticed a pattern," Dr. Chen said, pointing to a series of data on her screen. "The aliens are adapting their strategies to neutralize our new weapon. They're deploying energy shields and altering their ship formations to protect their command ships." General Harris nodded. "We need to stay ahead of their adjustments. If we don't, the progress we've made could be lost." To counter the alien tricks, the military and scientific teams worked on developing new tactics and upgrades for their technology. The focus was on finding ways to penetrate the alien shields and disrupt their new strategies. Meanwhile, on the battlefield, the changes in alien tactics became more apparent. Alien ships began to use advanced shields that absorbed or deflected the energy pulses from the new weapon. The previously effective strikes were now meeting increased resistance. Captain Alex Rivera and his crew, who had seen early success with the new weapon, faced the new challenges head-on. "The aliens have upgraded their defenses," Captain Rivera reported. "Their shields are holding up against our attacks. We need to find a way around them." Dr. Chen and her team quickly got to work, analyzing the data from recent battles. They discovered that the alien shields had weaknesses that could be exploited. The new plan involved adjusting the energy frequency of the weapon to penetrate the shields. As the military prepared to implement these changes, the aliens continued to employ new tricks. They began using decoys and false signals to confuse human forces. The once clear targets were now mixed with holographic projections, making it difficult to distinguish real threats from illusions. In response, human forces had to adapt their approach. The new strategy involved using advanced sensors and intelligence to identify genuine targets. Troops were trained to recognize the signs of alien deception and avoid being missiled by false signals. The next battle was a test of these new tactics. The bomber, now equipped with an upgraded version of the new weapon, took off for a critical mission. The crew was ready to face the alien tricks and put their refined tactics into action. As the bomber approached the alien fleet, the upgraded weapon was deployed. The new energy frequency was designed to penetrate the shields and disrupt the alien command ships. The first strike revealed the effectiveness of the upgrades. Alien shields were breached, and several command ships were disabled. However, the aliens were quick to react. They continued to use deceptive tactics and deploy new countermeasures. The battle became a complex dance of strategy and technology, as both sides tried to outwit each other. Captain Rivera and his crew navigated through the chaos, targeting key alien ships while avoiding deceptive traps. The upgraded weapon proved effective against the alien shields, but the aliens' adaptability made the fight challenging. Back at the command center, the results of the battle were analyzed. The new tactics and weapon upgrades had made a difference, but the aliens continued to be a formidable opponent. The fight was evolving, and both sides were constantly adjusting their strategies. Dr. Chen's team worked to refine the weapon further, incorporating lessons learned from the latest encounters. The goal was to stay one step ahead of the aliens and maintain the upper hand in the ongoing battle. The struggle against the alien invaders was far from over. The recent changes in tactics and technology had shifted the balance, but the fight was now more complex than ever. Humanity's resilience and adaptability were being tested as they faced an enemy that was learning and evolving. Despite the challenges, the determination to reclaim their world remained strong. The battle continued with renewed focus, and humanity's efforts to outwit the aliens were making an impact. The fight for survival was a dynamic and evolving conflict, and the quest for victory pressed on with unwavering resolve. The Big Push. With the alien invaders adapting their strategies, humanity knew it was time for a decisive move. The recent battles had shown that the new weapon could be effective, but it was clear that a more comprehensive plan was needed to turn the tide completely. General Harris and his team prepared for a major offensive, dubbed the Big Push, to reclaim lost territories and strike at the heart of the alien fleet. In the command center, preparations were in full swing. Maps of the alien fleet and Earth's battlefronts covered the walls. The leaders knew this operation would be critical to their success. The plan was to launch a coordinated assault on the alien command ships and key infrastructure, aiming to cripple their ability to continue the invasion. General Harris addressed the gathered military leaders and scientists. "We've seen what the aliens can do, and we've seen how they respond to our tactics. This push is our chance to strike at their core and disrupt their command structure. It's a high-risk, high-reward operation, and we need everyone at their best." Dr. Emily Chen, who had been working tirelessly on the new weapon, stood by his side. "We've made adjustments to the weapon based on recent battles. It's ready to deliver a powerful blow. Our focus will be on disabling alien command ships and communication centers." Captain Alex Rivera and his crew, who had successfully tested the weapon in previous battles, were chosen to lead the mission. They knew the stakes were higher than ever. "We've got a clear plan," Captain Rivera said to his crew. "Our job is to hit the alien command ships and cause maximum disruption. We need to stay focused and execute our mission with precision." The stealth bomber, now equipped with the latest upgrades, was prepped for launch. As it ascended into the sky, the crew felt the weight of their mission. The alien fleet was massive and menacing, but the time for hesitation was over. The bomber approached the alien fleet under the cover of darkness. The new weapon was primed, and the crew was ready to engage. The strategy was to use the upgraded weapon to create chaos among the alien forces and then launch a coordinated ground and air assault. The first strike was a decisive one. The weapon's energy pulse cut through the alien shields, hitting several command ships. Explosions erupted as the alien ship's systems failed. The disruption caused immediate chaos, with alien ships losing coordination and communication. As the bomber continued its assault, ground forces began their push. Soldiers, equipped with the latest technology and supported by aerial strikes, advanced into reclaimed territories. The coordinated attack was designed to overwhelm the alien defenses and take advantage of the confusion caused by the bomber's strikes. The battle was intense and fast-moving. The aliens, caught off guard by the sudden and powerful assault, struggled to regroup. Their once formidable defenses were now compromised, and human forces pressed their advantage. Captain Rivera and his crew navigated the bomber through the chaos, targeting key alien ships and communication centers. The mission was going according to plan, but the fight was far from easy. Alien forces fought back fiercely, deploying their own counterattacks and trying to regain control. On the ground, human forces faced a grueling fight. The push into alien-held territories was met with stiff resistance, but the combined efforts of air and ground attacks began to shift the balance. Cities that had been under alien control for weeks were slowly being liberated. As the hours passed, the effects of the big push became clear. The alien fleet was in disarray, their command structure heavily damaged. Ground forces had made significant gains, reclaiming key strategic positions. The coordinated assault had succeeded in disrupting the alien invasion and dealing the significant blow to their operations. The bomber returned to base, its crew exhausted but triumphant. The mission had been a success, and the impact on the alien fleet was evident. General Harris and his team reviewed the results with a mix of relief and determination. "We've achieved a critical victory," General Harris said. "But this is just the beginning. The aliens are still a threat, and we need to continue our efforts to secure our world." The success of the Big Push was a turning point in the battle against the alien invaders. Humanity had shown that they could strike back effectively and reclaim their world. The fight was ongoing, but the recent victories provided a renewed sense of hope and determination. The battle for Earth continued, and the resolve of its defenders remained strong. With each victory, the path to ultimate triumph became clearer, and humanity's quest to secure their future pressed on with unwavering resolve. The final clash. The battle for Earth had reached its climax. After months of fierce fighting and strategic maneuvers, Humanity was preparing for what would be the final, decisive confrontation with the alien invaders. The recent successes from the Big Push had shifted the balance in humanity's favor, but the alien fleet was still a formidable force. The upcoming battle would determine the fate of the planet. In the command center, the atmosphere was tense and focused. General Harris and his team were finalizing the plans for the final assault. Maps of the alien fleet and Earth's strategic points were laid out on the tables. Each move and tactic had to be perfect. There was no room for error. "We've made significant progress," General Harris said, addressing his team. "But this final clash is going to be the toughest challenge yet. Our goal is to destroy the alien command ship and cripple their ability to continue the invasion." Dr. Emily Chen, standing next to him, added, "We've upgraded the weapon to its maximum potential. This is our chance to hit the alien fleet where it hurts most. Our success will depend on precise execution and coordination." Captain Alex Rivera, who had led the previous missions with distinction, was once again at the forefront. His team was gearing up for the final assault, understanding the gravity of the situation. "We've faced many challenges, but this will be the ultimate test," Captain Rivera said to his crew. "Stay sharp, follow the plan, and we'll see this through." The stealth bomber, armed with the most advanced version of the new weapon, was prepped and ready for launch. As it ascended into the sky, the crew prepared for the intense battle ahead. The alien fleet, still a massive and intimidating presence, awaited their arrival. The final clash began with a coordinated strike on the alien fleet's command ship. The bomber approached with precision, navigating through the remaining alien defenses. The upgraded weapon was deployed with careful accuracy, sending a powerful energy pulse toward the command ship. The impact was immediate and dramatic. The alien command ship was engulfed in a massive explosion as its systems failed under the assault. The shockwave caused disruption throughout the alien fleet, leading to confusion and disarray among their ranks. As the command ship fell, ground forces launched their final offensive. The liberated territories were fully mobilized, and soldiers pushed forward with renewed vigor. The coordinated assault aimed to capitalize on the chaos caused by the destruction of the command ship. The battle was fierce and chaotic. Alien ships and ground forces fought desperately to maintain control, but the loss of their command ship had dealt a critical blow. Human forces pressed their advantage, targeting key alien positions and pushing the invaders back. Captain Rivera and his crew continued their assault from the bomber, focusing on remaining high-priority targets. The crew worked with precision, targeting alien communication hubs and supply ships to further disrupt their operations. The bomber's new weapon proved instrumental in the final push, breaking through remaining alien defenses. On the ground, soldiers fought with determination and courage. The final offensive was grueling, but the combined efforts of air and ground attacks began to turn the tide in favor of humanity. Alien forces, disorganized and overwhelmed, struggled to mount an effective defense. As the hours wore on, the results of the final clash became evident. The alien fleet was in retreat, their once formidable presence now significantly diminished. Ground forces had reclaimed critical areas, and the alien invasion was effectively halted. Back at the command center, the mood shifted from intense focus to cautious celebration. The final clash had been a success, and humanity had achieved a decisive victory. General Harris and his team reviewed the results with a sense of relief and pride. "We've done it," General Harris said. "The alien threat has been neutralized, and our world is secure. It's a hard-earned victory, but it's one that we can be proud of." Dr. Chen added, "Our work isn't over. We need to ensure that Earth is safe and rebuild what was lost. But today, we've shown that humanity can stand up against even the most formidable foes." The final clash had marked the end of the alien invasion, and humanity's determination and resilience had prevailed. The fight for Earth had been long and arduous, but the victory was a testament to the strength and courage of its defenders. As the world began the process of recovery, The lessons learned from the battle would shape the future, ensuring that humanity remained vigilant and prepared for any challenges ahead. Aftermath and new beginnings. The battle for Earth had ended in victory. The alien fleet, once a massive and terrifying threat, was now a shadow of its former self. The final clash had shattered their command structure and forced them into retreat. As the smoke cleared and the dust settled, the world began to assess the aftermath of the intense conflict. In the command center, General Harris and his team were hard at work evaluating the results of the battle. The screen showed images of the alien fleet in disarray and the areas that had been reclaimed. There was a sense of relief and accomplishment, but also a recognition of the immense cost of the conflict. "We've managed to push back the alien invaders," General Harris said, surveying the data. "But the damage to our world is significant. Our next task is to begin the process of rebuilding and recovery." Dr. Emily Chen, who had played a crucial role in developing the new weapon, was already focusing on the future. "The weapon was a game changer, but we need to ensure it's maintained and improved. We also need to support the rebuilding efforts and help those affected by the war." As the first reports came in from the ground, the extent of the damage became clear. Cities that had been heavily damaged or occupied by aliens were now in the process of being reclaimed. The effort to repair infrastructure and provide aid to displaced people began immediately. Captain Alex Rivera and his crew, having returned from their final mission, were recognized for their bravery and leadership. They took part in the efforts to restore order and support the recovery. "It's incredible to see our world beginning to heal," Captain Rivera said, as he helped coordinate relief efforts. "But there's still a lot of work to be done." In the areas liberated from alien control, communities began to rebuild. People who had been evacuated or displaced returned to their homes, finding both hope and challenges as they worked to restore their lives. The resilience and determination of the people were evident in their efforts to recover from the destruction. The global response to the aftermath was a mix of relief and determination. Nations came together to provide aid, share resources, and support each other in the rebuilding process. The world's leaders emphasized the importance of unity and cooperation in moving forward. "We have faced a great challenge and emerged victorious," General Harris said in a global address. "Now we must come together to heal and rebuild. Our world is stronger than ever, and our unity will guide us through the recovery." Dr. Chen and her team worked on refining and expanding the technology that had proven so effective in the battle. They continued to study the alien technology and incorporate new advancements to ensure that humanity would be better prepared for any future threats. As the days turned into weeks, the world began to see the fruits of its recovery efforts. Infrastructure was rebuilt, and communities slowly returned to normal. The war had left its mark, but it had also demonstrated humanity's resilience and ability to adapt. The victory over the alien invaders marked the beginning of a new chapter for Earth. It was a time of reflection on the hardships endured and the lessons learned. The experience had united people in a common cause and strengthened their resolve. The focus now shifted to creating a future where humanity could thrive in peace and security. The recovery efforts provided an opportunity to rebuild not just what was lost, but to create a better world for future generations. The scars of war would remain, but they served as a reminder of the strength and courage that had seen humanity through. As the world looked forward, there was a sense of optimism and hope. The battle had been fierce, but it had forged a new beginning. The lessons learned and the unity gained would guide humanity as it faced the future, ready to embrace new challenges and opportunities. The aftermath of the conflict marked a time of rebuilding, reflection, and renewal. Humanity's triumph over the alien invaders was a testament to its strength and resilience, and the promise of a brighter future lay ahead.